Hello and welcome everybody to the NACL Summer Promotion Tournament presented to you by Subway. I'm Kangas and I'll be your play-by-play for the day, and I'm joined by the one and only Beatdown as we are into the semifinals of the lower bracket. Beat, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, Kangas. They've been trying to keep us apart all split long. We already came together once before. We get to come together one last time before we're done for spring split. So I'm excited about it, and we got a great match.
Right, you are, Beat. Right, you are, Beat. They just don't want us to cast together for no particular reason. I can't believe it. But we do get to go through an entire broadcast today. It is a best of 5. The loser will be going home. It's in the lower bracket. The winner has one series ahead of them to qualify into the NACL for the summer split. We have Blue Otter taking on Winthrop University. And Beat, what a bracket it's been. We already crowned one team, welcoming a new team in CCG Esports into the NACL.
Yeah, it's been a crazy run so far, and it's even crazier that we have a rematch again from one of our first qualifier matches here. Blue Otter versus Winthrop. They get the rematch against the team who sent them to this lower bracket in the first place after eliminating Mirage Alliance, preventing them from returning to the NACL this summer. So whoever wins today, they are one step closer to that last match that either sends them home or gets them into NACL.
And that Blue Otter versus Mirage series, it was so funny to see the recourse on Twitter afterwards. So many people being like, called it, Mirage, we're going to bomb out. Half the others said, what happened? How did Mirage get eliminated already? But either way, congrats to Blue Otter as they continue on a lower bracket run here. They got eliminated in that first round, but if you take a look at it, it was against Winthrop University that put them into the lower bracket to begin with. So this is a bit of a rematch here, Beatdown. Winthrop, they had the better of Blue Otter before, but now it's a best of 5, so there will be more opportunities for Blue Otter to try and make a comeback.
And I think the most exciting thing is that this isn't just a rematch, it's a rematch of a rematch, Kangas, because of course, this was the matchup. The best of 5 played out during Qualifier 1, where Blue Otter did, of course, take the win. So now, in their third match against each other, this split, Kangas, they're going to decide once and for all who has that winning record and who actually has that chance to make it to Summer NACL.
I like that the stakes just keep building for both these teams. They have a lot of history against each other. As two teams that have a good shot of making it, I mean, already top 4 in the promotion tournament. Winthrop University is a team in the last promotion tournament that I had expectations for that they could make it in. They're another one of those collegiate squads that's trying to follow in the trail that Maryville just said. Maryville University made it to the NACL finals live in Los Angeles this last weekend. And I think Winthrop University, if we look at the pecking order of other colleges, they seem to be that next in line that could also follow along in Maryville's footsteps.
100%. Making waves in CLOL in that sphere, being one of the 2 teams now who are playing both NACL and also CLOL. Winthrop University are looking pretty good so far. Since this last tournament, Denethor and Mobility are the players we've been very excited about. I think Sword, I want to give a shout out to. I think he's had a really good promotion tournament so far and has had some pretty crazy pop-off performances.
Yeah, role swapping multiple times throughout his competitive career. Denethor is a player that I want to highlight as well. I'm sure Pilscar is probably in chat hyping him up right now as well. Love to see the family support. But Denethor is a player I've had my eyes on ever since the offseason. I felt that during the tryouts, the combines that a lot of teams were putting on, he was one of the top laners that really stood out as somebody to fear, and I was a little surprised he wasn't picked up by an NACL team proper, but I think this deep run in the promotion tournament is proof for players like him, for players like Mobility who are trying to make it back in as well, that they have what it takes to compete at the tier 2 level. Just coming in as a college team just adds to that fun narrative, adds to the fun hype, because it's a little more rare for the collegiate teams to find success. So if they can promote, it would be big for the team, big for the program. Let's take a look at the opposition though. Blue Otter, talk to me about them, Beat.
Right, this is a roster where 3 out of 5 of these players were full-time in NACL just last year. Kangas, Music, Lynx, Rovex trying to make that jump, trying to make that return. And of course, there's Samikin, a player who honestly really hasn't been playing much competitive at all except for this last year. And he has improved so much, especially this split, Kangas. He has honestly been looking really good. I was a big fan of him, particularly in their last series against Mirage Alliance when they knocked them out of the tournament.
And we were just talking about Denethor. Samikin's kind of in that same vein for me. A newer face to the scene, newer name to the scene at this level, trying to push for that NACL NACL roster spot.
Right.
But he really impressed me in the offseason. I've been keeping my eye on him to see how the team's looking going forward. I'm happy that they're also able to make top 4. It's tough. It's like seeing two of your kids fight each other on opposite sides and opposite teams. It's like, you know, I got to be unbiased here. I can't say I want either to win, but I think there's a cool reason to root for either one of these teams if you're at home and you're undecided. But I know that there's a lot of folks that are going to be cheering on these players. So let's see what they got prepared for game number 1. It's a best of 5 Fearless Draft reminder for everybody. You can only lock in a champion once throughout the entire best of 5, which really adds another dynamic layer to the pick and bans.
Yeah, and I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. The interesting thing to me about this mid matchup is that both of these mid laners, on top of playing, you know, some of the standard stuff, they have their pocket picks that nobody else is really playing. Samikin has this high priority on champs like Zoe that never gets through. We've seen him play Hui. He had a great Lux game in their previous series as well. Sword is of a different vein. He's the only player so far this tournament who's played the Rise, a champ that I actually think is very strong and I'm hoping other mids try and utilize. So I'm wondering what pick and ban is going to look like, especially when the standard stuff like Ahri, like Ori, like Azir are out of the picture, because this isn't just Fearless Kangas, it's a best of 5. If we go 5 games, we're getting deep into these champ picks.
Exactly. It becomes so much harder for players, especially that haven't had a lot of experience on that. Although I will say the qualifier teams have had a lot of experience doing Fearless as well throughout their series. So if anything, we'll see who's able to come out on top here. It's Talia locked in first for Winthrop University, as we have still that Zoe ban that's going to be banned pretty much every game against Samikin. You can expect that one. And a lot of other mid-focus with the Nico and the Orianna. Yeah,
Nico's a champ that honestly just doesn't get through very often. I think we're having a little fun with it.
Okay.
Oh,
it's
no,
locked
we're not.
in. I mean, why not? You said it had success earlier.
Yeah, 100%. Like we're getting the pocket picks in like immediately here for Samikin, and I think this is honestly a fine matchup because the nice thing about Lux is her ability to wave clear from really far away, whether it's her E, whether it's her ult. And oh wait, but maybe we see the Caitlyn lock. Yeah, never mind. I got baited.
Yeah, I mean, Caitlyn Lux would have been an interesting flex, but I don't hate the idea of Lux into Talia. Just conceptually, you're able to outrange a lot of Talia's, ability to poke you down. You can try and match that clear, but you are low mobility, and Talia Vi locked in early with the Nautilus, so we're going for Vi Nautilus together in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is that Blue Otter already have a couple of damage threats, so it is a little harder for Winthrop to throw all their eggs into one carry's basket, and I really like this Tahm Kench answer. I really feel like this champ is underutilized, especially with how popular Vi, Nautilus, Talia are in basically every draft we see. So this also means that on top of Winthrop having multiple targets, one of them, most likely going to be Lynx, is probably going to be pretty safe with that Devour.
Yeah, it's going to be harder for Winthrop to get onto the carries with this hard engage, but I'm more surprised that they opted for the combo in game 1, because Fearless Draft means that they cannot lock these again later in the series. Typically, we'll see teams go for a Vi solo and then a Nautilus solo later, because then they have the point-and-click ultimates as threats for things like Smolder. Things like Jinx, sure, it's great, but when you're doubling them up, you're allowing even more value from a pick like Tahm Kench. So we'll see if it works out for Winthrop University. It's going to be a lot of power picks in game 1's basket, and if they lose this game, that is really rough for them going forward into a Fearless Draft.
Yeah, and I like the target bans on both sides. Winthrop taking away junglers from Music. You want something strong in the early game to be able to allow some of these scaling picks to come online, and on the opposite end, Blue Otter recognized that Winthrop already have a strong early to mid game with this Vi, Talia, and Nautilus, and they're trying to get rid of some of those scaling picks so that Winthrop don't have as many options for champions to bridge into the later game. And of course, Music has plenty of early game options. There's the J4. I think that ends up fitting very nicely. And I like it.
Okay, so J4 is going to be answered by the Lucian to pair with the Nautilus in the bot lane, and then Renekton blind top lane. Let's see what Lawrence has in the champ pool to try and counter this Renekton. It's kind of surprising Renekton made it actually this far in to pick and ban, but you are right, it was focused on the scaling carries in the bot lane, so very early to mid-game focus from Winthrop's comp overall.
Yeah, and even with the Lucian there in the bottom lane is another example to what you're saying, Kang, is it's not paired up with an enchanter like we're used to seeing, but you're still going to get the value out of Lucian's passive, and it must feel nice to have that dash as a response to the flag and drag that Music's going to be coming in with. Plus, you're playing into Talia, so you already have that bit of zone control. That unraveled earth will make it a little harder to dash in. Blue Otter's comp, though, still, as long as Music can make things happen in the early game, there's definitely pressure on him. Blue Otter scale extremely well. Ornn, Jinx, even Lux, like, this is ridiculous what kind of power they're going to have post 25 minutes. So Winthrop, they had the pressure on them to make plays early.
But I'm going to ask you that, Beat, what do they do before 25 minutes? Because I'm looking at what I would assume to be 3 losing lanes. Lux, Taliyah maybe is more Lux favorite if you're able to catch a wave, but Taliyah can melt waves quick. I'm imagining Winthrop's jungler to have pretty much prio at all points in the early game. I mean, you're going to have a lot to work with here unless you have a different read of the situation, but I think Blue Otter, they're going to hope they can scale. I'm just worried, are they going to be given the window as we are loaded in to game number 1 of this do or die best of 5.
Yeah, I think I generally agree, Kangas, and that's why I emphasize the pressure that Music has on him. The fact that you need some gold early for this team just to get you through this first game. I mean, an early Drake would be nice, but that's probably not going to happen. Let's be real. And this could be that early goal.
We're just fighting. Dredgeline blind in the bush, and it's not working out for them. First blood to Music, and that's an excited Jinx. The resets come through. Rockets are peppering everybody down. Winthrop's jungler might need a flash here. It's actually just going to be Sword that flashes. They get another root onto mobility. Ignites, take it down. Lynx gets the kill. Disaster for Winthrop University's level 1.
I think that's just an amazing read from Blue Otter to be able to recognize that a play like this is very likely to happen. They stack up, and it works out beautifully for them. We talked about getting gold early. Kangas, I didn't expect gold to come through this early, but I'm sure Blue Otter welcome it all the same.
Yeah, this is such a good read from Blue Otter. They know that Winthrop have a stronger level 1, so they lay in wait. They set a trap, and Chookies just goes right for it.
Yeah, and it's you don't usually start that light binding for Samikam, but it got so much value there.
Yeah.
Double root, the Jarvan flag also gives the attack speed. There was so much going for Blue Otter on top of the fact that they had that element of surprise. So you already see Lynx got that extra bit of stats because he's coming back to lane with the dagger. Music starts with the longsword. So this early advantage, I think Music's in a good spot now to have that impact Blue Otter are hoping for.
Yeah, hook into the Tom Kench. Pretty rough there, but you're right that means that the laning phase will be easier for Blue Otter. I still think that there's going to be windows where Winthrop University have more prio and can be aggressive in the early game, but this is a perfect start for Blue Otter considering the weakness of their draft. We're fighting 2v2. Lynx is ignited, has Flash still available, but is able to kite back so far. Chookies might not be able to. He might have to flash himself. Rovex, who gets the kill first? It's actually mobility going forward. Gets flashed out of Rovex. Flash answer. Everybody's flashing. We're going all in. And it's going to be Lynx that gets the kill. Traded for mobility, but the reset Jinx. One more auto. Gets the double.
Wow, Lynx and Rovex making use of that extra gold they've got. Now this Jinx is suddenly 3-0 at 2 minutes. Wave is not in the best position, but who cares, man? You are cashing in big time. You need to spend that gold. And Blue Otter, any early game concerns are over now, except for top lane.
For Denethor! You know what? Why not? It's WrestleMania weekend. We came here to scrap, baby. Let's get another look at that 2v2. It's level 2 that gets hit early by Lynx and Rovex.
Yeah, and I love it. Like, Rovex instantly goes in for that Abyssal Dive, and the way he makes space between mobility and Lynx just means that he's able to, one, use the potions he had to keep his health up, flash into Fog of War as well to make sure Lynx can just keep putting up this damage and isn't actually under threat of death. And because of the passive, get excited, Lynx is very excited to get his 3rd kill of the game.
And this was another concern I had. The last pick, Ornn into Renekton, can get hard destroyed in the 1v1, and Denethor shows exactly how you have no ability to fight a Renekton in early levels, and Lawrence is going to wish that he had not died there, because now Denethor comes out with the pickaxe. Might have a dive bot lane, but no, the wave is a little too small. So, I mean, hey, it's a good start for Blue Otter's bot side, but that top half I'm still worried about. They're just happy that Jinx is at least going to get online a little earlier this game. I
think that's not going to make, that's not going to bridge the gap that is starting to form bot side, in my opinion, just because of the fact that there are already a lot of tools to make space for these carries. I think it's going to be hard unless Denethor gets an even more absurd gold lead. He gets more solo kills to be able to have that impact you're looking for. Ornn's still going to be Ornn. If he's behind in XP, you don't get the the masterwork items as quickly, which doesn't feel as good. But that Call of the Forge God, I don't care what level he is, man. That ult is always great.
It is fantastic engage, non-committal engage as well. But a Renekton that is fed. I know that you have the combo to get absorbed by the Tahm Kench, but Renekton flanks are also going to be a threat for Lynx as the game goes on. Lawrence does not know that the enemy jungler is right here, and they're over the wall! Winthrop University pick up another kill.
Man, a really good play. Nice recognition from Winthrop to put that pressure onto the top side. Bot side is so doomed right now, so put it all onto Denethor, who got that solo kill early on, who forced Lawrence to TP, who has to walk back to a lane where the wave is pushing away from him, giving Winthrop that first touch on the grubs.
I love the look from the jungler. Used to be known as Trickster, if you're confused by the current name on the screen right now. Paying attention to that top side, I think that is the clear answer here for Winthrop University. Bot side's going to be struggling a little bit, but still your Lucian and Nautilus, they can do just fine early game into this Jinx. Get this Renekton online. Denethor is able to get another back off and picks up boots for that one. Sword's in trouble. Ooh, if that landed, he was probably just dead, but I think he's fine for now.
Rovex is still here. Oh, he doesn't realize. They know. Okay, no, that's good.
Yeah, there's not a lot of backup. Just let him walk away.
Yeah, and I like the look from Blue Otter, and I also like the restraint to not actually go for it and give some gold back to the opposing side. So you can see now that gold lead that Blue Otter had that was getting close to 1,000 has definitely reduced quite a bit. A lot of that is because of topside, and the thing that's going to be the thing I want to see from Winthrop is I actually want to see if they can get Denethor out of his lane earlier than normal Kangas, because a top lane in general is kind of like an island. A lot of what's happening besides the grub spawning is on this mid and bottom side of the map. Top laners usually aren't interacting, so with that in mind, that looks good for Blue Otter because Lynx still has all this extra gold in his pocket.
The fact that Blue Otter were able to get 2 of those grubs is a big deal, because that means the biggest thing to fight for in the top lane in the early levels, you're not going to be able to get that 5 to 6 grub stack. I think that was really smart for Music to make that play and try and get on top of Vi early on. Denethor was going for the reset, and now they're on the dragon. So, you know, as much as I was saying it's huge that Denethor's fed, I like this look. I like the draft from Winthrop University. You already highlighted the scaling from Blue Otter. All they have to do is slow down the early game, and they're fine. Well, they've actually accelerated the early game in their favor. They have 2 of the grubs, they have the first dragon, and they still had a little bit of a gold lead here. So I think this is still, if you're Blue Otter fans, if you're a Blue Otter player, you're still pretty happy with the game state as well.
You are laughing right now if you're Blue Otter. Orange Jinx comp gets first Drake. You can't see me, guys.
That's kind of ridiculous.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
You love that. You take that any day of the week. Lawrence is like, guys, it's so chill right now, I promise. But these are the looks that I wanted to see from Denethor. It isn't good enough that he's stomping this Ornn lane.
Big burst on a Rovex. Woo! I didn't even have time to throw up the gray skin there.
It's a nice catch out, and it's getting some gold back into Winthrop's favor, specifically on mobility. Again, the bottom side of the map, where a lot of the action is going to happen. Any way you can find some advantages, get things back in your favor as Winthrop is important. We're going to see this one again. I think Rovex was just CC'd to death. He just died so fast, he thought he had more time. Press
the attack, plus 3 points in Q for Lucian. That's going to be a lot of damage right there. And keep in mind, it was Lynx getting the kills, not Rovex, so he's not actually that tanky right now. Only has HP, no armor yet. His mobility is able to dodge away from that. Invade from Winthrop University on the top half of the map. They are not allowing Blue Otter to snowball the lead that they had. They know that their composition is still stronger early game, and I like that they are focused on the early game, not trying to play passive. We saw Vi falling a little bit behind in farm, but could be in trouble here. Lawrence isn't spotting it.
Oh, they don't know.
Well, Forge got into the mid lane, as Sword's able to just sidestep it just fine. Flashes away from the Binding Light, okay. Looks a little rough there, but does get out to safety, and we're just going to high-five in the mid lane and walk away.
I honestly respect the look. Lawrence is the one falling behind, but he's also trying to move around the map, having an impact. You get Sword's flash out. It's going to make the next objective fight a little bit easier there for Blue Otter, and I'm wondering if we're going to see a punish either before that dragon spawns or when we actually get to that point in 3 minutes' time.
the flashes, they're going to need to get something, because the fact that Denethor just got a plate and I think like 2 full waves up here is even going to proxy another one. That is the cost of the Ornn roam. Looks cool if you get a kill, then you're like, okay, worth. The fact that you didn't, you just got flashes, I'm going to say, it's kind of rough. Denethor's going to have teleport. He can look to actually impact this next objective. Actually, he's going for a reset right now. We'll see if he does go for a walk down to Dragon and then teleport up to top lane or something like that. Either way, he's got the Eclipse finished, so that's pretty early for the old Renekton in the top lane.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of like the call with the teleport. The way I'd like to see it happen is actually teleports will be unleashed in like 5 seconds now. So when this next dragon spawns, because Denethor has this advantage topside where he can just crash as many waves as he likes, I'm wondering if I'd want to see him rather teleport to this dragon fight. Now he has the first item pretty much ahead of everyone else. We see Samikin is now walking back to lane with his, and so is Lynx. But Denethor's first item spike is just so much bigger than anyone else's this game. Yeah. So I want to see him at that drag fight. I want to see him helping Winthrop get the neutral objective counter back into their favor.
Interesting to see the Malignance on Lux. I actually haven't seen that before, but it is fun. Yeah, just throw out those ults. Get that massive cooldown reduction, as the Grubs will go over to Winthrop University. They won't get the full 5 or 6 stack to spawn when they hit turrets, but still, this feels good as they are utilizing the power of that Renekton before the Dragon timer, and I can just keep clearing on the path of bot side. I think a big part, though, is that Lynx, that item completed, is good news for Blue Otter. Jinx, if she gets a reset, is going to be terrifying in these fights. Yeah, the
Kraken Slayer is definitely a good look as well. Not the usual static shift that we've been seeing, because you got some beefier members on the side of Winthrop University. Yeah, and now
I like it.
Yeah, and Rovex, I kind of like what he's going for, too. He's syncing up with music, deny some resources away, get some deep vision set up, because Blue Otter, they still have their sight set on this dragon that's coming up in about a minute's time. Pretty much just abandoning Lords onto that top side, which, I mean, I think is fine. These lines have been set pretty early on, Kangas. Winthrop, they focus top. Blue Otter, they focus bot.
And actually, I like the Denethor staying up here, because if you TP down, Lawrence is probably just going to match TP, and an Ornn that doesn't match TP is not going to do that much damage to the turret. So Denethor can just stay in the 1v1. I mean, if you just kill Ornn or even get him to like below half health before the dragon fight starts, that's also good news for Winthrop University, because everybody is fighting for vision around this objective. Chuckies is going in like a madman. He gets hit by the choppers. He might just go down to start the fight. Flashes away, throws out the ultimate. Now they're full engaging on their music. Saved by Rovex, but here comes Sword with the flick back. Music's down. No jungler for Blue Otter. Rovex barely makes it to safety. Not using the gray skin yet, saving it, using the regen instead. But Winthrop University, they did what they needed to do. They got rid of the enemy smite.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So they're going to immediately get the Drake stacking a little later than they would have wanted it, but they're back on track now. And now you see this gold lead has gone up in their favor, about 1,000 gold. It was a nice catch out there. By Sword, I want to credit him for actually, with that recognition, immediately TPing for the play and using the Weaver's Wall to catch out music.
I'll go as far as to say I think Sword saved the play. That looked like a rough engage from Chuckies that he regretted immediately after. But the fact that Sword shows up, that was the difference maker. Rovex can only ult once to save you from that Vi engage. And now Winthrop University find themselves with a 1.3 thousand gold lead. The early game was a little rough. They gave up first blood, they gave up the first dragon and some of those early grubs, but they have corrected course. And they're in a lead right now. We'll see how they're able to play this mid-game now, because, again, with an accelerated Jinx, the mid-game not going to be as easy as they were maybe hoping for.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up, because I'm kind of afraid a play is going to happen, but I want to click the gold button. Oh, there it is. See, I knew it.
Oh, mobility goes down to the auto attack. Samikin showing us Lux passive and how strong it can be. Well done with a nice 1v1.
That's the Lux special. You thought you were safe 2 screens away? I'm really sorry, man. You die now. I don't make the rules.
Ooh, and Denethor getting abused underneath this turret. Chuckies is here. They're going to wait for the next wave here. Actually, they can look at Chuckies instead. Denethor's going to try and channel a recall. Lynx can stop that with the W, but they might not go for it. They didn't have vision on him, I guess, so he does get that back. Blue Otter will just probably get a free turret here then.
which is nice. It's too bad the plates fall, but it's still a good setup to hopefully get this Jinx first brick. At least that's what they're going for. But now Mobility is here. He's backed. He spent some of his extra gold. And it's just going to force Blue Otter to walk away for the moment here. So it ends up being a nice response and denying that first brick. But you posed the question, Kangas, Winthrop, how are they going to play this mid game now? Because this Jinx is still accelerated. And the gold is actually what I wanted to show up. Now that things are slow, I can do that.
Okay.
Lynx and Sammykin, they're at the top of the charts right now. They're not too far ahead of the likes of Mobility, Denethor, even Sword is not too far behind. But remember, Blue Otter's comp scales really hard in this late game. So the fact that you're only slightly behind against the Jinx, Lux, Ornn, I think that's really bad. So Winthrop, I still gotta believe that the pressure is on them.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
we'll see if that pressure mounts here as we're at the Herald. So we have a team fight. We're going to see Blue Otter's comp and what it can do. Here's Call to Forge, got engaged. Only lands on the 2 members, and it's the tanks. If they can get the reset, that's big news. Lynx doesn't get the reset, but there is 1 kill to Sammykin as the front line is going down for Blue Otter. It's now up to Rovex, but Sword has a flank. Sword gets on to Lynx and Sammykin. As now the Herald goes down, is picked up by the Vi. Winthrop don't want to go for more. They'll take the team fight win with a trade up in kills and the objective.
A really nice fight. That's exactly what needed to happen. They picked up more kills, and now with this Herald, they have another avenue to secure more gold for themselves. Honestly, there's an opportunity for them to grab first brick as well. But as I say it, Blue Otter might be the ones to do it.
Interesting. They do back off vision on Vi right there. Blue Otter have been struggling to get these turrets. I think it's still fine. They can play a more patient game. Yeah. Let's get another look at the replay here. I really thought Sword's flank would have gotten more done, but it starts off with Lawrence going for the engage and then everybody following up, but Jinx just isn't able to free fire enough in this fight.
Yeah, you can see where Lynx is on the screen. It's hold on, wait for it. Wait for it. That was his first auto attack just now, this entire screen. And you look on the other side, Mobility was free firing the entire time. That's also partially because not just the timing, but the target selection. We're aiming for the Nautilus, we're aiming for the Renekton, when Lucian should be a little higher priority because Lucian is in a really strong spot right now. Even that second item spike will be really big for him too, even though it's big for Jinx. So he's someone you need to be looking for in these fights, especially at this moment where Winthrop's comp is still very strong.
I'll also say a little unlucky that Lynx's Super Mega Death Rocket, I guess it just didn't hit damage onto Chookies. Because Chookies went down, but Lynx didn't get excited, so the splash damage must just not have landed on him. Either way, back to live. Winthrop University dropped the Herald into the mid lane. No turret's gone down yet, so this would be first brick if they can get this to stick. Everybody's hanging around here, and I don't think that there'll be enough for Blue Otter. Actually, the Lux ult clears the entire wave.
The whole team is
we
here,
are committing to it, so okay. First turret finally goes down. Winthrop, pick it up.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. First brick is usually a great thing, Kangas, but split between 5 people, I mean, I think Blue Otter and Lynx in particular are pretty happy with this trade. I'm going to keep it 100.
Yeah, and I was going to say earlier, I feel like Music kind of lost the script in the bot lane when they could have gotten that turret, but instead he went for the camp as Lawrence has to flash away. Almost got picked there. But the fact that the gold is still getting funneled onto Lynx, I think that's a win con for Blue Otter. Get gold on Lynx. Funnel the gold into this Jinx because she is going to be your damage dealer in the late game. The whole comp is kind of built around her being able to do damage.
And really quick, a really nice play there onto Lawrence. Not only forcing his flash, but forcing him away from this fight. Once again, Winthrop are consistently taking control of these objectives, knowing when to make plays to either get kills or at the very least get themselves perfectly set up to take these dragons after the first one went over to Blue Otter. So now this Dragon Soul, which will be very useful for them since they get outscaled, that's something they can actually look towards in roughly 10 minutes time, as long as they keep
And we'll see if Lawrence gets punished even more. He doesn't have the flash available. He just jumps out of there. They're going for the turret instead. Winthrop University want to pad their wallets as much as they can as they get into this mid-game a little deeper. We're going to have 4.5 minutes for that next dragon, but Baron is going to be a consideration going forward here. So they just need to slow down the Jinx, slow down the scaling. If Blue Otter can keep getting turret gold funneled into Lynx, that's huge for them. That's what they're trying to do right now. They will get it. Stunned up, but with Tahm Kench there. I like that from Rovex, actually saving the ult because there wasn't an immediate threat on Lynx. This is Blue Otter's game plan. Get gold into the AD carry.
Yeah, and I like that too because that's why, you know, Lynx doesn't have to use the Ghost. He knows that the Devour is there. It gave him the confidence to hit the turret and help Blue Otter equalize at least a little bit. in terms of gold and definitely in turrets at 2 apiece. And right now you can see Music. He's just hanging around, positioned a little aggressively, seeing if he can steal things away, but Sword is there to make sure because that's his blue buff too.
True. He wants that as well. And it also does force out the smite from Vi, so that means that maybe that would come up later on, although it's just up cooldown. No issue there. We'll see what happens in the next couple of minutes. There's really no reason for Blue Otter to fight for anything at this point. They're happy with the slow game, just catch the waves, so it's really on Winthrop to try and make something happen as their composition will get outscaled as the game goes on. And a reminder, this is Renekton. This is Vi, Talia, Nautilus. Big prio picks in game 1 of a Fearless best of 5. They will not get to play these champions again later in the series.
For sure. And the hope for them is that they're able to secure that win. Otherwise, yeah, a lot of premier champions just out of the picture for Winthrop University for the rest of this best of 5. By the way, guys, in case you are joining a little later, don't see the 3 notches next to these team names. We have, but either team needs to win 3 games. If we go to game 5, that's a lot of champions that are going to be out of the picture.
And it's just such a bold move for Winthrop to make this kind of call for that game 1. It's not working out for them so far. They're not out of it yet, but they're a little out of position as their Vi is just in Narnia right now. Has to flash away. Ball breaker over the Baron wall.
It's a nice catch out there from Blue Otter. Unfortunately, Krugs aren't worth your flash, as I'm sure we can all agree. And it does mean that...
Well, he's the artist formerly known as Trickster. You know, he's got to play some pranks on his team.
Yep. True. Of course.
Yeah, there's nothing to fight for
right?
in 2 minutes. You know, he's not going to need that. It's
fine. Yeah. It'll be fine. The dragon is not important. It's not like Winthrop need that Ocean Soul or anything, right, King? That would be ridiculous, personally.
Well, if we think about it in the positive way, I believe the idea was to set up something onto this top lane. They had Sword already up here. They were hovering multiple members, but it's the fact that you were just a little too deep in enemy territory, I think. But it seems like the play was probably to try and punish Samikin as a Lux, but Blue Otter, they read it, and they had multiple people around to back up their mid laner.
I'm just going to say he was out of position.
Okay.
The rest of his team were, they were pretty far away. Hence why I think the Narnia call was... Yeah, I respect the effort, but, sometimes we slip up. Happens to the best of us. Don't worry. Our wonderful observer, Kai, likes to keep the suspense up, but Sword absolutely secures the Wolves.
We saw the 55 gold above the head.
Exactly.
That's what gave it away.
Thank you, Kangas.
It's like when they name the chapter of the book, what happens in the chapter. You're like,
or the name of the book.
Why'd you do that? Or what's an example when that happened?
Have I read a book where they've done that? I don't know.
I can't think of one, but I'm curious now. Is there a book where the title spoils the ending?
Oh, no, not spoils the ending. It's just the name of the book. Like the last chapter of the book will be the book title.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why I'm pretending like I read. I've never seen that either.
I mean, if you need suggestions, I got you, man.
You know what? One time I joined a book club. It was like a Discord book club, and that was my record for the most unread messages I've ever had in a group. So
I mean, for chat,
no, I will
for
not
chat who isn't sure,
reading.
that is a staggering number, because this guy doesn't respond to DMs.
It was over 2,000.
I've never been... What?
Okay, we're going to talk about Rovex. Oh, has to flash away as Winthrop University are starting to position around the Baron. Not going to catch out anybody. Music and Rovex do get out of there. Yeah, I don't think you want to start it yet. Use this as priority to get to this dragon.
Yeah, exactly. It's just setting up vision, clearing out some of Blue Otter so that they can't do the Baron as a surprise while this third Drake is being secured, because this is Winthrop's sole point. We already talked about how important this is going to be for them, but Blue Otter, of course, they have to posture. They have to threaten this Baron because the dragon fight is too dangerous for them. So I think the play is just to start it.
You have a 2-item Jinx. You can actually shred through this pretty quickly. Winthrop cannot allow that to happen. It's not worth the dragon. So they're actually sending Vi back up here. They're going to try and utilize some of their poke with Talia, I assume, to go for it. And Engage comes in from Nautilus. He's just taken out. Samikin gets the kill credit, and Music survives. Denethor on a big flank here. This could be the difference maker for Winthrop University. Vi hard engages onto Samikin, flashed over the wall. Lynx is repositioned. Denethor can't get onto anybody. He's actually the ticket out of there for Music. Lynx on a rampage. Winthrop will get one, but it was all space that Lawrence was buying for them. As now the teams are on the wrong sides of the rift here, but it's Blue Otter that comes out on top.
Wow, that was a scrappy one. I mean, it's not going to change the fact that we're just going to turn back to the Baron. I mean, Lynx is low mana, they're low health. I really don't like this.
Bold move from Blue Otter. The Vi is still up. Does still have the smite available. No flash, though. We'll see if the artist formerly known as Trickster will look for the steal. It's actually Sammykin trying to land some poke here on the side. Big damage onto Sword. It'll be hard for Sword to walk in. Chucky says respawn though. Rovek's in trouble. They turn, they burn. They got the Vi down, but they lose their own jungler in the effort. Lynx has to flash over the wall back to his side of the rip. Teleport coming back in from Lawrence, but he's all alone right now. He's like, wait a minute. I thought I was coming in to save the team. Where'd y'all go? As Lynx just has no mana to take a fight. Winthrop University push Blue Otter off of Baron.
And so much of this was going for the side of Blue Otter, but that decision to go for the Baron the second time is where it all started to fall apart, because now Blue Otter, they don't have a chance to go for this Drake. They're still respawning, and Winthrop are going to get to have it all, Kangas. They're going to get the Baron buff. They're going to get their soul point as soon as they finish these recalls, and Blue Otter are going to be in some serious trouble.
Ooh, the Super Mega Death Rocket pretty late for the Baron. Almost picks up a kill into Chookies, but what a scrap there beat. I can't believe we had 2 turns off of Baron, and both teams just took turns trying to get it themselves. It seemed like it was going to be great for Blue Otter. We'll see if we get a replay of that later, because right now we're actually on the Dragon here. Yeah. Makes it back onto the Rift a little bit faster, but here we go. Here's the replay. So I thought Blue Otter had this as soon as they turn and actually blow up the jungler, but then what a flank from Denethor. Actually, this is the beginning of it, yeah.
Yeah, this is the first fight where it honestly was pretty well played from Blue Otter. They spaced out Denethor. He wasn't able to do as much as he might have hoped. Even Sammykin staying away from the Vi, flashing away after the cease and desist comes through, just allows these kills to come through, and you force Winthrop away. The problem is this, literally this decision right here, Kangas.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? Lynx has no mana, you are low health, this is insanity. Sammykin is doing his best to put down damage, but this is crazy.
Yeah, if the Lux is able to just get a huge pick onto Vi, then I think it's worth it. But the fact that Vi is always going to threaten the steal means that you have to turn if you're Blue Otter. Yeah. It's actually Vi that commits to the engage, and then they just get cleaned up from the full health bar members, mobility, and Chookies. I think really well played from Winthrop. You're right. It was ambitious from Blue Otter to try and get back onto that Baron. A little disrespectful if you want to phrase it that way, but it's Winthrop that pick it up. And they also get the dragon we saw in the picture-in-picture live. Right. So they have 3 dragons stacking up to that soul.
Yeah, which is a little unfortunate in particular. Oh, hold on.
Okay, seismic shove back onto 2 members right there. Denethor's pretty low, though.
Oh, they want him.
It's put in the boiler. Still alive. Nobody's actually hitting it. Lynx can't get in range. Denethor just walks out.
Yeah, and it's Chookies and Sword making a lot of space here for the Renekton. Winthrop University, they managed to get the tier 2. They walk away, and it really doesn't cost them very much. This gold lead, it just continues to grow in their favor. We're looking at 4,000 now. You can see mobility has pulled ahead in terms of items compared to Lynx, so his damage is looking really good, and there it is. He's top of the charts right now.
Has a full long sword, or BF sword rather, completed over Lynx right now. Is at the top. Link's not too far behind, though, all things considered. I still think the Blue Otter's composition scales, but they're going to want to deny that Dragon Soul. That would be pretty solid for Winthrop. I know it's not the most impactful soul, but still for this team,
it matters.
It is that type of magnet that can pull in Blue Otter and either take the fight, win it there, or get it and then win the next fight, because it does make it a little harder to kill them.
I think the individual Ocean Drakes matter, too. Winthrop is going to get 3 of them, and that is 3 stacks of constant missing health healing that's going to be coming through. It's on all the time. So there's a lot of value there. And even though, Blue Otter's comp does scale really well, you know what? You know what doesn't care about scaling, Kangas, most of the time? A 6,000 gold lead. A several item gold lead. Yeah, really? It happens to make a difference. This might be a hot take of mine. But maybe you
have the Ornn item gold efficiency up. Ooh, I raise you that question.
You know what? That is a good raise. When Lawrence gets to level 15, we can talk about that. But right now, he's sharing XP.
He gave it to Lynx.
He's sharing XP with the rest of his team right now.
True.
So, we need that to come online a little more. It's true. The amped Infinity Edge is there. That is super valuable. So it will ease the pain of that gold difference once we see a couple more.
This is the thing about Blue Otter's composition, as Lawrence is actually... Oh, don't get caught out. Okay, yeah, that turret is not worth defending. Just let the wave come in. It is going to be up to Lynx. This Jinx in the late game needs to be the one to find the resets, find the damage onto everybody on Winthrop. We are playing with fire here, going for that wolf camp. Not getting engaged on Winthrop. Will finally get this turret. And that is it. We're now looking at Lawrence, actually. He was still somehow away from the team. Didn't even notice. But he goes down. Sword's on a rampage. Winthrop University get a free kill.
Yeah, that is not good. I will say, even though that was a misstep from Lawrence, I do got to give some credit to Winthrop. I think they've been playing this map really well, understanding, especially when we're getting close to objectives, where the play is, where they can apply pressure. And the last two Drakes, they've set themselves up for it beautifully. And with this gold lead, with everything they've taken from Blue Otter, this next Drake, which is their soul, coming up in a minute's time, they're going to have everything they need to secure it. It's going to take a pretty insane fight coming through from Blue Otter for them to actually win it and deny that huge, powerful buff.
It's a high-pressure game, a high-pressure series for both of these rosters. A loss means that your spring split is over, and you'll have to watch from the sidelines as another team qualifies for NACL. The winner here will go up against Lit for that final spot available for the summer split. And you know both of these teams, how much it would mean for them to prove that they are ready to make that leap. So far, Winthrop seem to be the better of the teams in this game one. Music misses the flash knockup. Has to get devoured by Rovex to get out of there. Looked for a hero play completely on his own. No backup from the team and is not able to find it. Rough look, as maybe a bit of desperation coming in from Blue Otter now.
That's what it's going to take, Kangas. I respect the look from Music because this is just the position they're in. It cost Music his flash, it cost Rovex his ult, which is really going to hurt considering Baron and Dragon are coming up very shortly. So it's just going to make this next fight that much harder.
It's going to be so much harder for them to actually get on top of Winthrop University. The Dragon spawned. They can just control the mid-wave. We'll see if Blue Otter go. Ooh, it's actually Vi gets interrupted. Try to look for the engage. It's going to be huge. Teleport guns lands. That is the engage that Blue Otter needed, but Lynx flashed over the wall. The Jinx can't do any more damage, but Denethor actually goes in, allowing Lynx to get some shots out, but it's too little and it's too late. Winthrop University have fought through the front line. They've taken out the damage. It's just Lynx up, and Sword gets on top of him. Mobility with the shutdown. Winthrop University. The early game looked a little rough, but they corrected, and they corrected well, as they have dominated the mid-game onward. And that should just be the game. We got 15 seconds on Music, but 4 members of Winthrop University, they look to take game one.
All right, Blue Otter may have got first blood in this game, but Winthrop are going to be the ones to get first blood in the series with some beautiful map play, some great team fighting, and the destruction of Blue Otter's Nexus.
Deathless from Sword, mobility with 8 kills. Good looks from the carries of Winthrop as they will take game one with must-win champions. I want to remind everybody, it's Fearless Draft. That early game, I was really worried for them. They had Renekton, Vi, Nautilus, Taliyah. All of these are considered top-tier picks. And in Fearless Draft, you only get them once. So a win with that comp was almost necessary for them going into the rest of this best of 5. I think Blue Otter still have a lot more to work with if we want to look on a positive for them. They got to that late game. That last fight just wasn't quite enough for them at the end of the day. With that said, we're going to send it to a short break, though, and get ready for game number 2. You won't want to miss it. We'll be back after this.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.